All right, welcome to the Angel Healing Club. I'm Pati Scamacca, doing an impromptu substitution for our presenter Laura today. And we're going to do a channeling with question and answer centered around the heart and connecting with the heart and giving and receiving. We'll start with an opening prayer. Deep gratitude for this sacred gathering of beautiful hearts, so willing and ready to connect with ourselves, an infinite loving source. We call in all of our guides, angels, and helpers, all of those beings of light that are dedicated to our evolution and awakening in our hearts and in the greater essence of love. I ask that we be protected, guided, and open to all that is ready to flow through today, that we can learn to more deeply connect with our own hearts, the intelligence of our hearts, to learn to live, breathe, and lead our own lives from the intelligence and wisdom of the love that lives within our hearts and is always and ever growing in its connection to the greater source of all that is. May we learn to deeply receive the abundance of love that is always present so that we can feel that fullness and learn to know that deep within our beings that this is our nature. May we also learn to give and to trust in love's abundance so that we can all be channels of loving presence to bring greater peace to our world. And so it is. Blessed be. All right. So as I'm tuning into where this channeled message would like to come from, I feel like it wants to come from the heart intelligence of this universe that is the most closely connected to our earth and to us as people and our humanity. That's an aspect of cosmic intelligence that is pulsating its presence around our earth and beckoning at the doors of our heart. It's inviting us to say yes to a bigger love in life, and that it's in some senses creating a pressure right now because there's so much that is being released, like a pressure cooker releasing steam out of the top, that some of the eruptions of violence and disruption in our world is trying to break open to new levels of unified compassion, that even the experience of the virus is a unifying disruption, that sometimes things need to be disrupted from the status quo of patterns that have been in place for a long time, and that there's a great breaking open so that we can recognize that we are unified beyond all imagined boundaries of countries or race or religion. And so just welcoming this pulsating, universal love that is intelligent in its own motivation, that it holds a larger knowing, a larger vision of what is possible for us and our earth, that it has a knowledge of other examples throughout the universe, other places where there are evolving intelligence, different than Earth, but also having communal growth experience together. And it wants to help to integrate us more into that universal consciousness. And that starts with our very personal individual growth, that there can be a sense of being alone in our suffering. And I feel like part of this connection that is wanting to happen in this moment and that we're being prepared for in this discussion is to have our individual heart be woven in more deeply to this fabric of pulsating, very alive, loving presence. And so we're being invited, as we're preparing for this connection, to close our eyes and bring the attention inward, to feel and listen and sense to the beating of your own heart. And to sense and know that this beating is now matching the beating and the pulsating of this larger universal presence. That you are being synchronized, kind of like a grandfather clock or a grandmother clock, starting to synchronize with the larger universal clock, coming into resonance. And the healing guides are assisting in this process, helping to release dysregulation and come into a deeper regulating with the universal heart. Listening and feeling your heartbeat simply and quietly. Perhaps you feel that pulsating wave, not just in your chest, but perhaps that wave that is a little pressure in itself that moves through the body. Perhaps you feel that in other areas of your body as well. And we're being invited to count the beats as a form of bringing the mind into this rhythm and to help with the regulation, counting the beats. And we're being invited to adjust the count to the count of 10, And then returning again to 1 and synchronizing the breath, breathing in 1 through 5 and breathing out 6 through 10. And we're being invited to synchronize that together. So letting your breath come to an exhale and then inhaling together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pausing. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Continuing to breathe on your own. And they're preparing me as we continue to breathe to bring through a message. Continuing to return to the breath. As a way of deepening into heart awareness. If you drift off, it's okay. Just come back to the heart, listening to the beats, counting and breathing. And I'm also hearing that on the inhale, there can be a breathing in of a trusting, of opening and receiving of that universal love. And on the exhale, letting go and relaxing anything that needs to be done in order to receive. See a green gold light of healing getting strong and bright. The guides are around us. You can welcome them. If you'd like to give them permission to work with you, you can do that now in any specific manner. If you have any requests or you just want to give them a specific yes to work with you. Mm. Mm. Oh, they're like making my heart chakra get really big. Mm. Mm. So there, I'm being able to stay a fair amount of presence here and allow that channeling to happen at the same time. So that's good. Beaters of your own drums, the rhythm of your heart is intricately, intrinsically woven into the universal rhythm of life. Each of you is learning to follow both your own individual guidance of your heart and also to be attuned to that larger orchestra. We are here to help you, not only as band leaders, but ones that walk beside you, encouraging you and helping you to learn to use your instrument. For you are an instrument of loving creation. Ultimately, this is your greatest purpose, is to learn to use your instrument of love in the best possible way. There are so many challenges along the way, things that disrupt or appear to disrupt your path. Know that these things are always meant to bring you to a deeper level of understanding, of compassion and grace, and eventually freedom and joy. That today's limitations become the breakthroughs of tomorrow. And that although it can be difficult to remember that, an important part of the journey is to continue to return to trust in your heart again and again. That trust is based in the knowing that you are able to love, that you're able to receive love, and that nothing that could ever occur can ultimately take you away from that. That any traumas that have occurred that have made you want to shut down your heart, to stay safe, that they are the places that are waiting for you to open and discover who you truly are. They are there as pockets of invitations, like seeds waiting to be watered with your care. In the receiving of love, it often takes visiting these places to tend to them and care for them with your aspects of yourself that have not forgotten. For even though there are places that have sheltered themselves, there is always a place that remembers, even if it is in a simple statement or desire of intention, an asking, a requesting from the guides, from us, from Source. Just a simple willingness is enough to create a thread, a beginning, a new weaving of your healing that brings a bridge to the love that is always present and waiting so eagerly to embrace you once again. We know that some of you have expressed questions, and we would like to open the conversation now for you to express a question that may be on your heart, and we will respond in kind. We open that invitation to you now.
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm aware that I have a big heart and that other people experience my loving big heart, but sometimes I feel like I can't feel my own heart, and I would like to understand what's happening there, whether it's just that I'm guarded or, yeah, any insight would be really helpful to me.
Beautiful. And I'm just bringing that question even deeper into that source consciousness. Yes, indeed. Yes, your heart is so big and beautiful, often bigger than you are able to experience in the moment. Your personal heart is growing to meet your universal heart. You have lifetimes of being in very expanded states that involve not being in a body. And your physical and emotional forms are learning to encompass and to embrace that expansive experience in a whole new way. There is a neurological learning that is occurring of how to funnel or channel this expansive energy in a way that will not blow your circuits. This is a protection, but not one that is a blockage. It is a protection that is the way a baby would be swaddled, one that encases you in a safety that allows for new dimensions of receiving to be created. This is one aspect. There are also emotional protections and some traumas that are there as well. So it's a combination. Your journey is a combination of healing of the past and inviting your immense potential to optimize and for these two to meet. For you have the capacity to bring great healing to others through this inspired synergy of awareness. Use your compassionate awareness to bring understanding to the parts that need to evolve into greater trust and patience with the part that is learning to, in some senses, be smaller in order to fit into your vehicle. Do you have a further question about that?
No, thank you so much. That makes so much sense. I really appreciate the channel and all the angels and guides that channel through you, Patti. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question?
I'm just wondering about, sometimes I feel a pain in my heart, and just what that's about and how to heal that.
Oh, I could feel it in my heart really strong. Okay, I'll bring that question to that heart intelligence. The pain is wanting to break through and break out, that it's been compressed and hidden or suppressed for too long, and it doesn't want to be hidden anymore. so wants to open and flourish and to be seen and heard, to make noise, to use your voice bravely and strongly with confidence, from knowing that you have the right to be, you have the right to exist, to take up space, and to receive and to give that which is yours to give. That your balance of giving and receiving is ready to increase in both. That it's not about what you do, but how much you allow yourself to be. And that there's been nothing wrong at all with where you have been. It's like a flower having the pressure ready to bloom, that you've been in a protected developmental stage, and that it's time to smile and be seen, and to trust that you will be received, and move on past those that are not ready or willing to receive you, and move on to those that are ready to warmly welcome you, and you are so wanted and needed. And that any fear that comes up, to face it squarely, and say, yes, I see you, I hear you, I love you, and we're going forward anyway. Is there any further question about that?
No, I don't believe so.
Does anyone else have a question?
I have a question. What message do they have for me?
Brave and joyous soul, we trust in your connection with us and the angels. Thank you for your dedication and openness and enjoyment of life. Thank you for your celebration. Thank you for your playful wisdom. You're on the right path. Your dreams will be fulfilled. You have set them on a course that is in alignment with your purpose, and you are and will be supported. We love you.
Me too. Thank you.
We love you all. You're all so beautiful. So beautiful in all of your stages of growth. Every one of you is so precious. Know that you are held, and that we look to you like we look into a beautiful child's eyes. Sometimes you may feel that you're not enough or that something is wrong, and it's so not true. We look to you like a child with such great wisdom and yet so vulnerable. It is such a challenge to take on a human body and a human life. We know it is not easy, and yet it is always worth it because there are joys that your path will lead you to, and that even the pains become part of the richness. If you too could take a moment to look upon yourself like a beautiful child, taking your eyes, see the eyes, feel the eyes, your eyes, and how you perceive yourself. Take those very eyes and look to yourself like a beautiful child, a wise child, child so capable of love. Look to that part that is the most difficult to look at, that deep challenge that you may have, and look to that part also with these eyes of caring. And let yourself speak to you, to yourself from this place, letting this part know that it's okay, that it's loved, there's nothing wrong, it's good enough. And beyond that, so good. For you are learning to be for yourself what we are for you. You are learning to be gods and goddesses. That begins by loving and caring for the first and most important person in your life, you. Are there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Sometimes my heart feels sad and confused, and I feel that there is a message from my heart, and I have a lot of confusion over what that message is.
And bring that question to this heart consciousness. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Sad and confusion. Sometimes it is not your sadness or confusion, but is the sadness of those around you, family, the world, and it beckons you for its prayers without being held back or limited. There have been many years of giving oneself to others, and although your loving dedication will always be an expression of who you are, it is also a time of growing freedom that you can hand over through your prayers the concerns for others, the responsibility for others, and know that you are not neglecting anyone by doing that, by handing over those concerns to Spirit. You are enabling them to take responsibility for themselves. And that by making a practice of this, of, in a sense, isolating your giving time to your meditation and prayer time, or to consciously chosen moments through the day, that you can begin to claim a greater freedom for self, that this is a time of growing expansion of that freedom, and that the sadness and confusion are signals or signs to take a moment of prayer for all those that may be feeling sad or confused about what is ultimately important in life. For you have a deep knowing of what is important, and that it's an invitation to raise consciousness in the greater extension of who you are, your world, that their evolution of all into a new kind of responsibility that says, yes, I am one with all, and yet my first responsibility is self. That you take the layer of discomfort and offer a prayer to all those ready to come into a greater awareness of truth, so that then you yourself can step into that truth.
Mm. Thank you.
And we'll take one more question.
Yes, I was
Okay, too.
so sorry. Go ahead.
So I know I've closed my heart from past traumas, and I see glimpses of an open heart. How can I better access opening my heart and getting to my true self?
Right, taking that question to heart consciousness. It's a time of remembering self-worth and self-valuing, that to first treasure your own heart as important. There are releasing patterns of disregard for self and your own wisdom. The opening begins with the valuing and the growing, cultivating, knowing that you as an individual are important, that you as an individual are able to stand on your own, that even in the needing of others, which all people do, you are ultimately strong, and that places that have collapsed are ready to remember that they are not failures, but just a small trip and fall, that it's okay to dust yourself off, pick yourself up, and know that you are capable of walking, running, flying. You are so capable. And to restore that confidence in your capableness so that you can link to the wisdom that is greatly yours. You have an ancient wisdom, a almost tribal elder type of wisdom. Put the feather in your cap, in your Indian garb, and wear that head dress as a sign of your elder wisdom. Use this as a reminder in your meditation and in your visualization and in your feeling of how you carry yourself with pride. Carry yourself with pride, and your lion's heart will be returned to you.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you. And one more.
Sometimes I find that I've hidden my heart and it's hard for me to access it. And how can I connect more deeply to my heart and move through that?
Bringing that question to heart consciousness. Fear is not your ruler. You are greater than that. Fear is a small thing in the greatness of your heart. Put it in its proper place. You too are a warrior who is reclaiming her courage. The hardness is one of false safety, and you have the strength and the wisdom to gently bring true light to this place. Use the wisdom and the light that you have to shine this upon this place, letting it break down, letting it be vulnerable, and to allow that vulnerability, that dissolving, to go all the way to completion, to like a wave of the ocean coming in to the shore, letting it crash within the safety of your light and wisdom, letting it fall, letting that crumbling happen. For there's a fragility in trying to hold up that hardness. It leaves you vulnerable and sometimes fearful. So letting it temporarily consume you dissolves the fear, letting it have you, because ultimately fear is too small to consume who you truly are. This will reveal the truth of fear's weakness rather than resisting it, letting it consume you, and then you will know your true strength.
So much love and gratitude for that channeling from Patty, and thank you, angels.
Are there any other requests before we do a closing message?
I would just like to request to send all the guides and angels and heart consciousness like so much love and appreciation and gratitude.
Love and gratitude, so well received. Thank you for flowing in the cycle of giving and receiving. May that cycle continue to flow. May we all be connected to the pulsing, alive frequency and presence of the love that all that is. Always inviting us into unity, synchronicity, trust, well-being, and dynamic live presence infused with light and gentle power. May we know the power of our own hearts, its power to connect, to feel, and to know the truth of who we are. Thank you so much for this beautiful time of heart consciousness. To all of us and all of our guides and angels. And so it is, blessed be.